Now, the new Party 1019, New York's #1 for throwbacks.
Hey y'all, happy Sunday, and welcome to Tany Talks Live. On today's episode, you guys picked the polls, and we are talking about, is time valuable? And I have someone here who definitely values their time and wants to share about it. And I got my girl Autumn in the building. She is a singer-songwriter. She could dance her butt off. Honestly, I give it to you. So, I brought her here to kind of share, her opinion on how we value our time, right? I just want to talk about a few things about time, right? I feel like for people who are successful, right, and I would think you are a very successful individual, when people are successful, time is actually their most valuable asset. Right? Because people who are successful, they want to make sure that every time and every minute is with motion, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, once it's gone, it's gone. Unlike money, you can't earn more time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There is no clock in this world that can make you go back in time, unless there's somebody out there that knows about time travel, about something I don't know. Unless y'all know something I don't know, please let me know so I can go back in time and make some changes. You know what I'm saying? Or bring some people back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, that's something I wish I could do with time. Like, if I could just have more time with the people that I thought were going to be here longer, I think, that would be something I could do. So I just want to hear, through your opinion, like, how do you feel about, like, time?
Oh, well, time is extremely important because you never know who you're coming across or what you're coming across. Like,
right.
Anything that could be possibly happening is for you or the other person or multiple. Right. So for me, time is so valuable that is like literally every second of the breath that you take. That is like, okay, this is what is given to me. How can I utilize it? How can I spend it wisely? How can I make sure that everything that I'm putting into not just my time, but the time that God gave me,
right?
How can I really, submit and do that for him and be, obedient to what he need me to do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. And I feel like in a way as well, like time waits for no one. Right. And I know a lot of times, you were speaking on a spiritual level. I feel like a lot of times, like, we get upset with God or the universe, or just like talking about our timing. Right. And I feel like God is never late. Right. Mm-hmm. The universe is never late. As much as we like to think that, we have time or there's more time. Time waits for no one, and your time happens when you least expect it. So I want to talk a little bit about, let's talk about good timing and bad timing, right?
Yes.
So what would you consider as good timing?
Good timing is when something flows like this, for example, right?
Oh, this is so good timing.
Yes, so good timing. I actually was out of town. I was traveling on the South Side. I was back and forth from Florida to Atlanta, and we had came across of doing the show, and I was like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to support you. Whatever got to be done. And then my mom got sick. And then I had to come up here. And I already knew that I was going to come up here for the show.
Right.
I just didn't know I was going to come up here earlier than the time.
Right.
And to stay. I'm back in New York. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm back in the hometown. Right. And that happened so good. And just the way that it happened was literally...
I feel like it was all meant to be. Yes. Like oddly enough, you were already going to come for Tany Talks. And I mean, it's unfortunate, that your mom got sick. So I hope that she does get well super soon. And that's crazy. Like, I called to you to come, and it's like, oh, I have purpose here now. Yes. It's not like I'm only here, so you're using your time to the best of its value, right? So it's like, listen, I'm here in New York. I'm going to do Tany Talks, but not only that, I get to spend time with my family. I get to go link up with friends that I haven't seen in like the last year or so, because you've been down south. So I feel like that's really good timing. Mm-hmm. Oddly, that really worked out for you. So let's talk a little bit about bad timing.
Ooh,
what would you consider bad timing?
Ooh, when you are on the road of being very productive in your life, and you have set goals, and you've let bad habits go, and then you're on a certain type of path that no longer serves certain people.
Right.
And then here they go, boop, 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 try to come in and just flow in, and then that's bad timing. But at the same time, that's just trying to test your timing.
Right.
So like, you have to be aware of these things that may pop up when you're on the right track. Exes, friends, jobs that may try to come back, or just necessary things that you may have experienced before. Somebody brings it up and is like just trying to get you off your game. Like, that's bad timing. But you have to utilize your time and what you're doing so that it doesn't knock you off of your path in the time that you're in.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like things happen in bad timing, but I like to embrace those times sometimes because it's like bad timing sucks sometimes, but it could also be a blessing in disguise, right? Because like it might not have happened for you right now, and sometimes we have to deal with the crappy times to appreciate the better times. And when I say time, I mean time is so multi-dimensional, right? Because we could talk about the physical time, like the actual time on a clock, right? We could talk about your future time. We could talk about your past time. Like time is so figurative and multi-layered that it's like to talk about time is important, right? Because I feel like if you value every moment, even the times that you think is bad time, it still ain't bad timing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because time is the beginning and time is the end, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Like just because something happened, not on your time, and it's like that saying that goes, when one door closes, another one opens. Or if a door closes, a window opens.
Yes.
I feel like there's so many quotes and things like that go with time. There's one that's like, time will tell the truth. Time heals all.
Yes.
Is there any like moments that you feel like in your life that you felt like you missed out on time, or like you should have used your time better?
Yes. Things that I've chose to spend my mind my thought process on one thing when something else was happening at that time, and not necessarily giving it my undivided attention, or not paying attention to what God is revealing to me at that moment. I would say there were some things, for example, I used to smoke weed. Right. And I no longer smoke weed because I felt like that was taking too much of my time. That was taking too much. Literally.
She's like, I would get smacked and then just forget time would just fly by. Because I feel you on that one.
But it did get in the way of certain things that I didn't necessarily know what was happening. For example, God had given me a blessing of being in a girl group. And this is my testimony. Being in a girl group back in 2018. And majority of the time, like, I'm very sufficient. I'm very discipline in everything that I do.
Right.
So it never got in the way of what I was doing, but I didn't need to do it.
Right.
I didn't need to do it because the time that I was putting into it was slipping away of the structuring that God was doing, setting me up for everything.
Yeah.
So I'm over here thinking like, this is it. This is about to happen. This is about to go on. God's like, no, I was just giving you the little taste. A little taste of what I got in store for you, but I need you to let go of these things.
Right.
So it was definitely like, oh dang, if I could go back. I mean, but it's about to come back around in a different way. You know what I'm saying? That's the blessing behind time, that you can learn from what you experienced. And honestly, the things that you experience in life, God will continue to give you a lesson.
Right.
And you just can't waste the time. That's it.
No, you can't. You can't waste the time. And I would say if you guys have an opportunity, take every single opportunity when it comes your way, because you just never know if that's the one. But then again, some people will tell you might not take every opportunity that comes your way. But if you feel like it's sufficient for you, I would say totally take those opportunities while you can, because you just never know when the next one is going to come.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of the strong bonds you have with individuals happen over time. Yeah. Right? So we have to appreciate that too, where it's like sometimes where we have to kind of let things marinate. We got to give it some time in order for it to grow and develop into the strength of whatever bond it is that you have. So I feel like, a lot of people don't think that. They're like, oh, you want to meet somebody and fall in love and all that. So it's like, no, every bond takes time. Yes. Even with friendships, work relationships, anything like that. You have to kind of give it time. And I know someone like me who's extremely impatient. I would say, how would you explain your relationship between time and valuing your time in your personal opinion? Yeah.
So between the two, I would just try to be able to see where I can fill in any blanks with whoever I am engaged with, friendships, relationships, family. And see like what is it that I'm in that moment for and the purpose behind it, because we all have a purpose and we all have something to do. And I just basically narrate from my perspective and then step out of myself and be like, okay, this is something that I'm enjoying. This is something that is fun. This is good. But what is it that I can be able to bring to the table?
Right.
And what is it that I can be able to not necessarily receive, because I am such a giver and I'm full already. So there's nothing that I feel like, what can I gain from this? But it'll be like wisdom wise, like what can I gain from this? What can this teach me, and how can I be able to assist in any circumstance, anything that can come around. So with people that you come across, then you see red flags, and then you start to be like, okay, when you see this type of characteristic again, you'd be like, let me see first. But because I got the wisdom, now I know how to handle it better so that I'm not wasting neither of our time.
I want to go into a short musical break. You know, she is a singer, songwriter, dancer, and we are going to get into her very next track, which is called Yeah, I Know.
Yeah.
You found the new Party 1019, New York's #1 for throwbacks.
So we are back at Tany Talks Live with my girl Autumn in the building. And we are talking about time and the value of time. And is time valuable? Now, let me just ask you straight up. Is time valuable?
Yes.
100%. I think we can all agree that time is valuable because, you know, it's a weird thing with time because it's either coming too quick or going too soon. Like we just gotta taking too long, or just like happen so fast. It's just a weird thing. And I mean time as figuratively and spiritually and literally. You know, how do you make your time purposeful? Like what kind of practices do you do in order to make your time purposeful?
Well, I spend a lot of time meditating. I meditate, and I can meditate at any given moment. Like
I love that.
I meditate on my way here. I meditate in the bathroom. I meditate cooking. I meditate in any given
that's
moment.
A really good practice because I feel like in order for you to meditate, you're kind of slowing down time in a moment, right? And like taking in every second to make your next moment purposeful. And I just wanted to ask you guys, because everybody that's listening, thank you so much for tuning in. But I wanted to ask you guys, like, how do you guys make your time purposeful? Like, what is it and what kind of practices that you do in order to make the most of your time? So the way that I make the most of my time, and some suggestion is I'm always planning ahead, right? So like the day before, I'm always planning for the next day, right? So that I could try to kind of get like my life together. Like, okay, well, in the morning I'm doing this, in the afternoon I'm doing this, and try to figure out ways to like make the most of my time. Because I like to think of it like time is money, right? And I like to make money. So it's like, how can I make my time make me money? Right? Or how can I make my time make me happy? Or how can I make my time make me less stressful? And I'm gonna be real with y'all. When my day doesn't go the way that I planned that my day should go, I get very angry. Ever had a day where it's like you planned everything out so perfectly, and then like one thing goes wrong, and then something else goes wrong, and then your whole day is like screwed? Like, I hate that. I used to be one of those people that like one wrong thing would just like ruin my whole day. Like I would let 10 seconds of something that's messed up happen ruin me for 10 days.
What?
10 hours and stress me out.
They don't even last too long.
No, so that's what I'm saying. I'm learning now how to like value my time, where it's like, okay, well, I start to think about it now that I'm older. It's like, okay, am I going to let this 10 minutes of my day really ruin the rest of my 24 hours of my day? You know, so where we got to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm not going to give this unfortunate situation this much time out of my day, because I could lose money. I could lose stress. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be like that. So one thing that I would suggest to you guys is kind of like woosahing and learning how to just not let those few moments of your day or of your time consume so much more time than it needs to, right? Because like, you ever heard the saying where it's like, oh, if you have $1 million and you drop $1, like, would you like go back to like, you know, it's just $1. Like you still have so much more dollars in your bank. Why would you sit there?
That might be a blessing for somebody else.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, so I feel like going forward, I've learned to try to like plan out my days, try to make them the most of what they are. And if they don't go well, take it with a grain of salt and keep pushing.
Literally.
Yeah, because you know, we can't allow something negative take up so much of our time. You know, because I feel like that's a way to waste your valuable time.
Yes, it is.
So I wanted to talk about that too, and I want you guys to comment also in the comments here on live to let me know, like, what are some ways you would value time, but also what are some ways where you could lose value in your time? Can you speak about that, like how, like, some experiences you've had on losing time?
Yes. So I had an experience where I was being too caught up on something, and I had experienced I mean, we all dated, right?
Yeah.
Like, love. And I was so caught up in love that I was willing to be like, okay, what do you need help with? Like, I'm here to help you, and I lost so much time on myself.
You lost your own time trying to put all your time into someone else.
Yes. And then don't get me wrong,
I've been there.
Don't get me wrong. I still was getting things done. I was touring. I was dancing, background dancing. I was singing, writing.
Right.
I was doing everything possible. So I still was active, proactive. Wasted my personal time on helping someone else try to figure out what to do with their time. That's what it was.
So because sometimes we are so invested in other people, right? That you're like, we value our time, and I know because we're very ambitious, right? We're the same sign. We're Libras. We like to get money. We like to do things.
Literally the same thing,
right? So I feel like for us, it's like when we see someone who could be doing more with their time, right? You want to like invest into them, you want to be like, look, you could be doing this. We want to motivate them, but then you start to fall back and realize like, yo, I'm putting so much work into this person that I could be using this time for myself. Literally. Like, because you can't, like, we could take the horse to the water, but we can't make them drink.
Right.
And I feel like that's a very, very classic comment.
Yes. The time also.
How much time we gonna spend sitting there with that horse trying to force it to drink?
And then it's the time that you like. I'm very ambitious. You know this. We're ambitious. We go forward for what we want. We get it done. And my dream has been my dream since I started dreaming.
Period.
And so I wanted them to follow their dream. And I was just like, if this is gonna work, you got to do what you got to do too. We can't be here and I'm helping you and you not helping yourself. I got things to do and I got places to go.
And you know what I think happens, and I was looking into something like that earlier, like when you're super ambitious and you're growing a lot, sometimes, and you're moving at such a fast pace because you have a grind to, you have a vision. And when there's people around you who don't share that vision or they see you growing, sometimes you outgrow people. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that because you're growing so much, it forces that other person to look into the mirror. And we're kind of like showing them themselves like, hey, this is what you could be doing. We could be doing this, like follow your full potential. But then it kind of makes them feel uncomfortable at the image that they're looking at. And sometimes, you can't force everybody to be on the same type of timing you on, because everybody be on their own type of time. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to read off some of the comments that we got going on. Bold Transformation. Shout out to you, Bold Transformations, for your comments. So I'm just going to read them off. So one of the ways that you could lose time is lack of self-awareness and lack of self-love. I would say if you love yourself, then you would love your time. You would value your time if you loved yourself. And like you were saying, when you're in a relationship, sometimes we lose the fact that we love ourselves. We love someone else so much that we forget to love ourselves and value our time, that we're using all our time to help instill value in them. And then sometimes we realize that doesn't even give them more value.
It doesn't.
We just kept giving them our time and giving them our energy, and we noticed that it still didn't raise their value at all.
It didn't. And they would be confused thinking you need the value. No, I know the value. Do you value you?
Period. I just want to go into like the specifics of what time is defined as, so that some people just don't even understand what time is, right? Because like I said, it's multi-layered, figuratively, literally. So I just want to like kind of say like time could be defined as an ongoing, continuous sequence of events that occurs in succession from past thought through present and to the future. So let's talk about like time and thinking about the future, because I feel like I spend a lot of my present time not in the present, and I should take more time to be in the present, but I'm always in the future. I'm always thinking weeks and weeks and weeks. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I feel like it's a gift and a curse, because time is a gift and a curse in a way, where it's like I try to tell myself, appreciate the present. Appreciate the present. You're always thinking about tomorrow, next week, the next day, your next thing. And it's like I have to slow down sometimes. And heard that quote of smell the flowers? Literally, I need to take a time and just appreciate the moment, appreciate right now, appreciate you being here with me at this very moment, right here, right now, and appreciate every second that's happening at this very moment. But no, sometimes instead of thinking about now, I'm thinking about ahead, or even where we're losing our present time thinking about the past and being stressed out about the past. And I want to tell you guys, like, it's okay to think about the past, but please don't dwell in it. Don't dwell in the past. And I know a lot of things are hard to overcome, right? And those things hurt you, but like they say, time heals all. It will take time. I mean, it might not heal at all, because I feel like as far as like grief goes, and like, when you lose someone, because I feel like everybody and everything has an expiration date, right? Nothing lasts forever. No one's here forever. Everything changes because that's how time goes, right? It's like past, present, future, everything. So just taking a little bit of appreciation for the past and understanding that it was in the past, but try your best not to let the past hinder the present or let the present hinder the future.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a weird like a cycle. It's a weird cycle where I mean there's no real answer to this, right? So I don't want to get on Tany Talks and tell you, hey, this is how you do your time, because everyone values time differently. Right? The way you value your time might be different than how I value my time. Because like, you know, I'm a mom. So that's another thing too. Like I'm constantly thinking about the future and setting forward because I want to make sure that my daughter's time in her present and her future is different than how my time was in my past. Right. You know, so those things kind of reflect on one another. So I just wanted to like hear from you and your opinion. Like, what is it? Like, how do you see time as far as past, present, and future?
I see time for past, present, and future. Like, what is it that I experienced that I can change now from how I did it then or how it happened then?
Right.
So that the way that I am today will continue to aspire for my future. And exercising everything that I can pick up. Sometimes we miss it.
Right.
You know, so you got to keep going through it again and again and again. But that is the blessing, the lesson and the blessing at the same time.
Right.
I'm no longer that. I am this now, and who I'm going to be is who I want to become. So I look at it as just pointers that we got to keep. It's like we got to keep up with ourselves.
Yep.
Like, you know,
that's a fact.
We're here too, but just know it's never about you. So it's like what you're doing and what you're assisting is for the next person to do and assist, and then it becomes a ripple effect, and then everybody starts doing it, and then soon you know it, the world be on the same level of.
And that made me think of a really cool thing too. I feel like we have to also have respect for how other people value their time, right? Like just because I value my time in a certain kind of way doesn't mean I'm telling Autumn how to, you know, value her time. Some people might live a really slow lifestyle. Like, you know, we're very ambitious. We're very go-getters. We're like, go, 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 go. But there's some people that are very like tranquilito, very chill, very relaxed. And that's how they value their time. Yeah. Like some people just like to just chill.
And sit back and just be like.
And just have a full like on hour, whatever, chilling on the couch. And that's how they value their time. And that's okay. Right? Because if that causes them peace and if they want to just go and lay on the beach for hours and you know, spend hours of their day doing those things, that's okay. You know, so we also have to kind of learn to how to respect how other people value their time. Because I have a bad thing of always telling people like, you should be doing that. You should be doing this. And it's like, you know, if they're comfortable in their skin and how they see their time, then that's okay. And also for people to have respect for how I value my time, right? Because there's always people in your ear telling you like what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. And I need you to understand like this is how I value my time. Because sometimes my mom is always telling me like, slow down, you're moving too fast, you're doing too like, Mom, time don't stop for nobody and I ain't stopping either. Okay, the clock is ticking. Every moment I gotta tick right along with it. But you know, my mom's more like a chill kind of like, it'll come to you. Don't worry about it. Whatever's for you will happen. You know. But you know, I'm also like, I'm gonna grab time by the horns, and I'm going to like make my time how I choose to like see it.
Right.
And not everybody kind of
sees it that way because everybody has their that's the thing about time. Like how you said, there's so many different layers of it that everybody's working on time. Whether it's their time or another time, or,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I used to be late to school. I used to be late, not all the time. Kids, don't be late. You know what I'm saying? But it became a thing.
Late.
It became a thing where I was like, oh snap, I'm late for school, and somebody would be like, well, to be on time, you got to be early.
Period.
And that, I was only like, 17 years old, 16, 17. I was like, ooh, you right. So now every time I do my best to be there early, to be on time.
There was that movie, I think it was Drumline. He was like, if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you got to be early to be on time. And honestly, I tried so hard to be on time today. And every time I tried to be on time, like I left my house at 8:30 this morning, I still got here late. It's just like, But I look at it like, you know what? That's God's timing. I was
Yes.
supposed to be here at this time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I was also looking at another story about a gentleman who survived 9/11. This is so crazy. He had bought these new shoes for work.
Mm-hmm.
He was on his way to the World Trade Center, and like his shoe was like rubbing on the back of his shoe. So he needs to get like a Band-Aid. You know how you, on the back of your heel, how you wear new shoes and how they're uncomfortable and they rub it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he stopped at a CVS to buy a Band-Aid, right? And he was stressed out. He's like, I'm about to be late for work. But he's like, yo, my foot is cutting up. I gotta stop at CVS.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to the CVS to go get a Band-Aid, and the towers fell. And he was like, you know how stressed out I was about being late? And he was like, I'm so grateful that I was late. Because he was technically on time.
Yes.
He was on God's time. He was not supposed to be in that building at that very particular time because he could have potentially lost his life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like, you know, God's timing is always on time.
Yes.
And we have to trust in that time, but also use value in your time because God is not gonna open up every door, every moment, every second of the day. He has to see you putting in that work.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, so when you put in that work,
receive, but you got to work for it. You got to have the faith to work. You have to work to work. Like you can't just be like,
work to work.
Literally, you can't just be like, oh, so I'm gonna ask and then I'm gonna wait. No,
it don't work like that, baby. No.
You gotta work
and put things in place for the future as well. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit here and be like, oh, I want this amazing future, and you ain't putting the time in to take those steps.
Okay.
You know, and I want to talk about another really cool quote that reflects the time. It's called "There's a time and a place."
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of people don't know that there is a time and a place. Okay. So let's get that together because not everything you could do at every time and at every place. There's a time and a place for everything, and be mindful of where you are at certain times and what you plan on doing, right? Because you know, you could be offending someone depending on what you're doing, or you might like put a bad light over yourself if you're doing something at the wrong time in the wrong place.
Yes.
Like for instance, this might be silly, but it's like don't sit there and propose to nobody at my wedding. This is the wrong time, the wrong place.
The wrong time.
The wrong time and the wrong place. Do that sometime on your time. Don't be using my time to do your business. Or let's say you're having a disagreement with a friend or whatever, and you guys are at an event. That is not the time or the place to bring up those types of situations. Please patiently wait for the right time and the right place. Yes. And on that note, what I want to go ahead and do is I want to play one of your newest songs. It's called Shining. Yes. Right, because it's her time to shine. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna get right on in it with that track Shining.
New Party 1019, a Nexus radio station.
Hey y'all, so we are back at Tany Talks Live, and that was Shining by Autumn. My girl Autumn, you gotta check her out and stream on her stuff, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Is it online? Where can we find your music?
So this is unreleased, so y'all just got a good sneak peek.
Okay, exclusive here on Party 101.9 iHeartRadio and the Matrix Studios.
Yes. But yeah, no, it's on all platforms. And one time is on SoundCloud. You know, y'all ain't gotta buy that one. Y'all can just go listen to it for free. You know what I'm saying?
So is there anything you want the people to know, like, about you? This is like your time to shine a little bit. Like,
yes.
What's happening? What's going on with you?
I have a lot of things that's gonna be prospering and coming into fruition. I have a project that will be coming out later on this year. Not too late, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I am just grateful to be here, grateful to be my friend, my sister,
girl.
support you, and
of
just
course.
Being able to experience what God is doing in your life as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
I know you said it's for me, but it's for us. You know,
it's for us. It's for us. You know, I like to use my time to share, and I feel like if I could share my platform with those who I feel like have value within their time, I feel like it only gives like more motivation for me to like kind of continue. So I really want to thank everybody for tuning in to Tany Talks Live today. And I hope you guys learn how to value your time, and you guys tune in. Again, this is my girl Autumn, my twin. So guys, tune in. Bye.
Streaming online at party1019.com. This is New York's #1 for